Ahoy! The new season PTR is insanely full of stuff. There's a ton of stuff that wasn't announced at all as well, but one thing I wanted to show you first is the new 10-man trial, one of the major PvE pieces of content of this patch. So this is a bit scuffed at the moment because we cannot get any human ward or bane gear reliably because we didn't really get the things that you need for that. So you can see I'm running a little bit of elemental aversion, I'm running some fire ward through rubies, and I got decent weapons but without bane. And the problem is my jewelry can't have fire rubies either, so I'm very restricted in what I can do here. Typically, this is something you would want to run with full flame protection plus full rubies, as far as I can tell so far from the fight. And we also would want to run this with human ward, obviously, and human bane. And that would make a very big difference. So I'm running this with a light loadout with a very high amount of con by my standards. But it's just something that allows me to survive and reliably do what I need to do in these fights. And I think that's more important than doing max DPS for now. And then once this goes on live, I feel like the trial will be fairly easy. I think it's very fun and has some fun mechanics. But I think for a more experienced group, it won't be that challenging. And it will be something that you can definitely do with randoms once it's fully functioning. And I just want to show you one of the runs that we did. I actually recorded it and was talking over it while I was doing it. But unfortunately, the audio got corrupted. So I'm talking about it in hindsight now, basically. And I'll skip ahead to the part where we're actually starting the first pull here, the first fight here. You can see that I'm really using SNS and a spear. I don't have Enfeebling Skewer, I just didn't get it in 10 attempts. So that's a bit unfortunate, but I still have a decent amount of weaken between the shield, the rush, and the perforate, so that's fine. So the first wave here starts off pretty easy, just a few trash mobs really. Just something to warm up, get everyone in order and everything. You can see we're running with 2 tanks and 3 healers. I think this can be done with 1 tank, especially in the later stages. Technically better to only have 1 tank. But 2 tanks are decent to split the attention at some points with the earlier waves. So it's fine. I think it's not the best, but it's possible. 3 healers so far have felt pretty good for this. Just because there is a lot of damage later on. So yeah, it's been okay for that. But there are many other ways you can run this. I think you can technically run this with 2 healers, 1 tank, maybe even a very, very, very skilled healer and a tank, but, well, that remains to be seen. What you can see here is that we have the Water Seeker, which is an ice mage, basically. I prioritize those types of targets when it comes to dungeons, because they usually do a lot more damage. But none of them here are particularly big threats at the ridiculous amount of health that I'm running, so it's okay. I can kind of sit in there a little bit. And obviously, this is a bunch of random players, so I'm not going to rely on them to consistently prioritize the right target. Also keep in mind with all of the stuff that you're seeing here, this is well beyond 200 ping. This is very, very laggy for me, and this is something that you will definitely see in the speed of the attacks. And it's actually crazy if you look at Whirling Blade, which got a buff, that even though everything is slow, Whirling Blade will look very, very fast still in comparison, and you cancel in and out of it very, very quickly. So that's very nice. On these waves here, once again, we have some named mobs now, and I think they are just like a team of like a mage, a healer, and some melees, like a skirmisher, an X guy. I don't know if the last one's a tank or something else, but yeah, it's a group basically. And you would want to prioritize like the casters again, but everyone else was on the clump, so I was like, okay, I'm just going over the clump, giving them a weekend, and just clearing this out quickly, and then we go to the casters afterwards. It's fine. But again, this is why I'm saying you can run this with 1 tank as well. You could just pull everything onto the casters too, as long as you're surviving the ice storm. It's actually not really a problem. So yeah, just depends a lot on how competent your team is, how much CC there is, and all that stuff. But it's pretty fine. I'm running vines, by the way, because I just wanted to have more weekends here. Just because I know that no one really has Enfeebling Skewer, and probably also no Enfeebling Maelstrom either. So just work with what we have. So now we're getting to the first more, well, challenging wave. I wouldn't necessarily say it's that challenging, but the one that requires you to pay a bit more attention. We have like a little melee guy here, and that's going to be the first mini boss, more or less. He has a bit of a back cleave, and if he hits you with that, it can hurt. Which is why, again, I try to apply weaken as much as possible here, just so everyone else benefits from it too. And you can see the sword and shield rotation is just so nice now. If you can actually get it off, you can do the shield rush, Whirling Blade, and then you can, if there are many mobs, you get some reset from that already, and then you get more reset from reverse stab. Here you see this little timers above some of my teammates. This, I think, is just a detonation directly around them, so you just want to get away from them. At least that's what I'm doing so far, and that seems to be working. And they just take... I don't even know if they take damage themselves or they just give damage to others, but it's not an insane amount of damage either way, so it's pretty okay. You just saw one roll into the other, and they were actually both fine. So yeah, not super difficult. You also see some small adds here, but it's all very, very casual, I would say. If you had ward here, I mean, the adds are probably not human, so that's like maybe a very minor threat, but with a little bit of mob control, a little bit of basic paying attention, this is definitely not a problem. You also get 2 revives for this fight, interesting enough. So yeah, that's also helping. And the strange thing is there aren't very very good rewards from it. There is cool looking rewards, so if you're going for the looks, it's cool, but in terms of what they're giving you, the perks are very strange. So we'll see what that's about, and if that's changed after PTR, I can show you later. Alright, this guy is cleared. We've got everyone alive. And now we fail. We're going to skip a little bit of the failing here because it's not really necessary to watch all the runs. And we're going to go ahead to the attempt that I thought was most interesting. And this attempt starts here. I don't want to spoil how exactly you do all of the mechanics. So you can see me doing some mechanics wrong, actually. I am trying here to roll and dodge to get rid of the debuff, because it's called stop, drop, and roll. But I'm not going to tell you how to do everything correctly just yet, because maybe some of you want to figure it out for yourselves. So, yeah. We'll just leave it at that for now. What you can see is that this guy is putting fire on us. He's dashing a lot, actually. And he also has a meteor shower and a big fireball. And some very interesting other mechanics. The fiery claws is one thing that I'm particularly scared of. The knockback here is actually not that dangerous. I thought it was really bad, but it's really not. But the fiery claws, which is this fire trail, similar to what Anpu and Enya does, that one is definitely scary. And here you see me getting burnt a bit again. This fight definitely requires the tank to position well. If the tank is positioning poorly, then everyone gets hit by the trail. But here you see in the knockback, it's really not that much damage. Like, you don't really need to avoid it. If you have grid, you can probably just sit in it as well. Obviously, only for 300 con players as well now. But yeah, definitely something that is very much manageable. And if we knew all the mechanics already at this point, it would have been fine here. Because there isn't really all too many of the things here, but then you can see this little... I call it a totem, it's not really a totem. That's something you need to pay attention to. And this is where we had a bit of a problem, because you can see the tank just had the aggro in that direction. So, because he also ran over to the totem, so that actually hit everyone with the trail hit. So the tank should not really be running there, I think. Probably not the best idea. But yeah, very fun fight, a lot of mechanics. Sometimes a bit unfair, because sometimes the mechanics come out very quickly and very untelegraphed. There are a lot of voice lines that you can pay attention to, though. For that, it helps. And then you get... burnt a last time. Dashes a little bit, once again. And this is the mechanic that I think is probably bugged at the moment. You can see like 2 half splits in the walls here. And we've tried everything. Somebody's leaping, striking over, somebody's dodging over. I'm trying to lay down. Nothing seems to allow us to actually survive this flame wall. And there are various other versions of the flame walls where they're like super close together and you can't really get through them. So far everyone's been saying that they're bugged. I don't know if they are actually bugged or if no one has figured out how to solve them yet. I know there's an exploit to get past them, so some people have completed the trial with this exploit, but I don't know if anyone has completed it by actually surviving these walls and actually being able to manage them in the intended way. Overall, the Hatchery is definitely a very fun trial, and here you can see the rewards. The rewards are just not good. They don't have anything Like, they have useful perks, but they have no resilient or anything, so I really don't know. I think they look like the guy on the left, kinda, a little bit. So that's cool. But yeah, I don't know what that's about. And then there's these strange bonus runs as well, which supposedly you only get bonus rewards for the first 7 attempts. But I've done multiple attempts and my thing hasn't gone up or anything, so I'm assuming it's just when you actually get rewards and not just for the attempts. But I have been enjoying this trial. I think it's a fun warm-up for raids. I think it's intentionally not that difficult because it's probably part of the season quests in general as well. It's just a new little addition there to have fun with. And then I think really, this is the build-up, the preparation for people to do the big raid, and that's where the real challenge is going to be. But yeah, I am enjoying it. I think it's a cool little piece of content, and just really a fraction of what is on PTR. It's absolutely crazy, and I will talk about more of that tomorrow. We have an insane amount to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see more New World content or Diablo, consider subscribing and clicking the bell. Of course, more PTR stuff to come soon. And also, thanks to my patrons for supporting this video. They got a brand new trading tip related to the PTR today. So if you want to have that one as well, you can head over to my Patreon. And thank you for watching. Sloth out.